What's up, guys? Welcome to Talking Phoenix. Today we're going to talk about Where Lovers Go to Die and the outro, Ashes.
Steady your hands with your cork cup of chamomile. Your eyes are stone and your lips, they never seem.
Yeah, this is my favorite song on the album. Where Lovers Go to Die. I mean, honestly, the entire thing is like probably my favorite transition into a song. It's my favorite song. Shout out to Sam. He's the reason this song is a thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Sam Rue.
Yeah. So Sam Rue played guitar with us for a while and like absolutely phenomenal guitar player. Just musician all around, and his ear is like next to none. Especially for like catchy songs, and he liked songs with deep meanings, and it's not very often that somebody comes to me and is like, I think you can write better. And like that doesn't happen. I don't I think when you write words, it is a vulnerable place. You know, you're pouring out stuff, right? And I think a lot of people get uncomfortable. Like, I don't want to tell you like your words are bad or whatever. But like Sam was such a like, I think he knew I wouldn't take offense to it. I like it when people like give me the straight whatever. And like he's like, dude, he's like, a lot of these songs are awesome. He's like, but you can do better. And I was like, I'd never had somebody say that to me before. I was like, all right, yeah. And then I was taking that Ryan Tedder monthly class.
Yep.
And I was like, going over like song production and how I wanted to write stuff. And it's just funny because I was very pop oriented. This song is very not pop oriented. But I was just started to like write about, it was almost kind of started as like a poem. And I had this theme in my head. And again, it was very like movie-esque, like as I could see it in my brain about like, I was listening to a lot of Jeff Buckley at the time. That could be why. Very, very poetic and just his vocal trills, and like I was really inspired by that. And I wanted to start with this, like I wanted you to feel it like right away. So I was like, okay, well, you steady your hands with a cold cup of chamomile, which is funny because I say chamomile, but it sounded better with chamomile. And I wanted you to be able to like visually like see it in your head as I sing it. Like, your eyes are a stone and your lips, they never seem to smile. You seem to find yourself in a place where lovers go to die. Like it just sounds very dramatic, very poetic. And I was just, the entire time I had Sam in the back of my head being like, you can do better. And I'm like, I'm going to do better. I'm going to do better. And like, honestly, like I'm so grateful for that moment because a lot of the stuff that we've written after that is because of that. I'm like, no, like I'm going to compare every song I'm writing right now to this song because I love how deep the lyrics are. I love that. And like the other thing that I learned in that class is like when you're writing a song, you should be able to understand it top down. Like if you're reading like a storybook, it should still make sense. And that was another thing I took into this song. Like I think this was probably one of the harder songs that I wrote because the timing was a little weird at first, and like I couldn't really figure. I was like, should it be in 4? Like, should it be in 6? Like, I was like, how do I want? Like, do I want it to like have? I don't know. I didn't know how I wanted it to flow, and that's why you surround yourself with people that are better than you, and you guys helped me figure out. Okay, well, let's do it in 6, and I was like, okay, and it just this was a really complicated song for me to write, and it was like the way it turned out. I was very, very happy. And it's literally just about, that place where couples sometimes get where it's like you're comfortable, but in a negative way. Like you're stuck and you're complacent, not like you're in a comfortable place. Like I can come home every day and I'm happy. Like you're stuck in a place where you come home every day and you're just there and you don't know how to get out of it. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. Like it's not abusive. It's not, it's like the hard part of love. And I feel like this is that moment where lovers go to die is like, and is where like you choose love or you don't. Like, are you going to continue to choose to love this person and make the effort and make it go someplace? Or are you going to go and let it die. And this is where you split ways. And that's like, this is, I feel like every single relationship gets to this point, whether you're married or you're in a great relationship now, like you all get that point where you're like, this is hard, you know, 100%. You're like, holy crap. Like, you know, and that's what the song's about. It's hard. Do you choose to let it go or do you choose to keep it going?
Yeah.
Lovers go to die.
Hard to add anything after that.
Yeah, I'm just
sorry, let's just bum.
I'm just happy to say that I got it right. What I thought this song was about was what the song was about, and I always have, you know, I feel like throughout this whole going through of the album, check out all the other episodes if you're interested. We've had moments of each of us having differing opinions or thoughts on what the song was about, or what we took out of it, or how we connected to it. But I feel like this is one where like we all kind of, even without really delving too deep into the words, kind of all got relatively to that same kind of place. And I'm a big softie, and I can't ever hide like just embodying this song live when we play it. And it breaks my heart every single time. Just hearing you sing the words, it's just,
it's the point.
It cuts so deep. But the thing I don't understand is a lot of people like try to slow dance to this song and try and say that this is their couple's song. And I'm like, no, that is not necessarily the point. I'm happy that it's your song. And it very well could be. This could be like the whole, like, we've been in this place and we've risen above, and it's great.
Times, man.
Yeah. And I love that. But it always catches me off guard because I'm like, I just got done crying.
It is interesting. I mean, because at a show where it's a bunch of people that don't know us and they're doing that, it's like, you definitely don't know what the song is about. I'm like, we should talk afterwards, then you can know.
Right.
Part of the reason why I love doing this is because I'm learning so much.
Yeah.
It's because I never really... I'm not as much of a lyrics person, or I'll say I didn't used to be much of a lyrics person, and because I would just listen to songs. I'm like, yeah, there's text, but I didn't really pay attention to it, and I think that's something that's changed with me a lot, especially after being in the band, and like when I have to think about what you're singing, and sometimes when I have to sing with you, I'm like, okay, I actually have to process the words. I can't just ignore it and then then just feel it. It's made it a little easier to write my own lyrics if I'm gonna bring them for something, and just makes me a lot more attentive, for sure.
This is by far, I think, like the hardest song to write, record, play live, release. Like, I think it's probably the song I was most nervous about releasing too, just from the perspective of like, you put so much into it. Yeah. So I mean, just like on all of those levels, every single scale, I feel like this was the most difficult song because it's so tender. There's like, because it's like the song, and I don't want to put words in Jaden's mouth. I mean, like everything that Jaden said, totally true, totally second everything that he said. And I think that is the story behind the song. And even though it's like a sort of a hard song, it's so tender. It's such a tender song. And like, it has to be handled with care in the same way that like the relationships have to be handled with care. So every time we still play this song, even, I feel like I'm like musically trying to be so careful with every note and every brush stroke and every little cymbal hit, and every part is just, it's delicate, and we don't want to overdo it, and we have to be careful with the song. But that's one of the reasons I love this song, is for its delicate nature.
Yeah. When we were working together, and when Dan and I do little one-on-one meetings, they're like, okay, what's bass and drums going to be like for this song? We do it for every song that we're working on. We did it for every song for the American Dreams album. And this one was like, we mapped it out, like every single part of it. And that was it. That pushed me for sure. I was like, I hadn't thought that hard about playing a song with a band before. And it was probably that was one of the moments that made me like realize that I enjoy doing this. Like, this is a work part of the band. Like, this is like the nitty gritty, and the stuff that would probably turn some people away, but I'm like, I love every part of this. Like, I love working on this really tiny stuff. I like putting it together, like all that stuff with y'all, you know, to get a little soft. I was like, it's just like
Yeah.
working on that super intensely.
Yeah.
I was like, I love this. This is super fun.
Yeah. And it definitely took us the most takes, like when we were recording it too, because I think we had 7 total takes, which is bass and drums here. So it's like, I mean, some of these songs, you know, we're probably averaging 3 takes, 3 takes something per song, 2 to 3 takes per song, basically to get the parts out. And I remember being in the basement and doing this, like at Chris's house in the studio, and doing this song 7 times because it was like take 1 was just terrible, take 2 was like terrible, take 3 was terrible, take 4 was like there's something to that.
Yeah.
5 is like, oh, that was better. 6 was like
Terrible.
I think we're almost there. And then 7 was like turn the lights down, like we're gonna like
get in
get a
the
little like
mood.
we got to get in the it's like we just got to set the atmosphere here. By the time we got to take 7, it was like
Everything was there.
Everything was there.
I was always so proud of how prepared I was going into this one, because obviously the song grows and it develops so much by the end when we're just really just emotional and we're just banging out this part and Jaden's screaming and everything's awesome. And I was like, this has to be like guitar wise, I was like, it's got to be like really elaborately sculpted with layering. And I'm like, okay, acoustic, we're throwing acoustic in this song. Okay, we're throwing electric in at this spot, but then not here. And then we're throwing a really distorted guitar at this spot. And it's like, I really wanted it to be this really orchestrated sound. I wanted it to be as full as it could be, but in a warmer text and not like the Gasoline kind of sense of like a whole stadium sound, but very much more of like an orchestral hall, a really just big, woody, warm, just emotional domain.
It's hard to not be prepared when you take 17 guitars to the recording.
I remember for, what was it? Was it for, I think it was for Peace of Mind. Okay.
No, it's fine.
Can we talk about that? Oh, it's gonna be out by the time we release this.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
I guess, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, when we were getting ready to go record guitars for Peace of Mind, I think it was everything for Peace of Mind. And Jaden and I picked up Evan, and he had like 5 guitars, and he opens the
4
door.
amps or something.
He opens the door, and I'm like, you know, we're recording just one song today, right?
It's like, yeah, I know.
He's like, yeah, I know.
Just bringing the essentials.
Yeah.
You brought the cabinet, and you brought the head, and you brought the amp,
Yeah,
and you brought all 5 guitars.
Yeah, I think
and
it
you
was
had your-
actually 4 guitars, 2 amps, a cab, my pedal board, and a wah.
And there was me. I had my bass. I was like, I'm going direct, baby.
I don't even think you brought a 1/4 inch. I think you just used
Yeah, I'm
Chris's.
I just bring
I
one
have
thing.
to say though, not only was this like the big song of the album recording wise, but I think, you know, even for Chris, he knew this song was so important.
Yeah.
And, you know, he added a little piano in there. If you hear that, that's Chris adding his little flavor in there. We love it. But it's like, he really wanted us to make sure that we were happy with it. And we took the most time making sure that this song mix wise was exactly what we wanted. And especially even flowing into the outro. I think that was like the first time we ever really like debated.
I was gonna say, I think it's the first time we ever fought.
Yeah.
Oh, it took a while.
Yeah.
There was a
That's
lot
a
of back
And then
forth.
I was
phone
in
calls and text messages.
You were
and
in
then more
Iceland,
phone
weren't you?
calls
No,
and
I
then
was
more
in
text
I was
messages.
in Spain.
That's
when
right.
Y'all were deciding, and I mean there was a time difference, and like I think I was about to go to bed. I was so tired, and like it was during the day for y'all. It was like afternoon time, and we were still discussing it after like 3 days or something. And I was like, guys, I'm going to bed. I literally do not care what you choose. Just like I'm leaving it to y'all.
I think that's the first and maybe the only time I've gotten like heated
Same.
in this, like in like the production, whatever. This song meant so much to me. I was like, we were going back and forth between how we wanted it to fade and how we wanted this to do it, and like we're like, we'll just fade straight into it and we'll just do this, and then but like it would have had a weird cut, and I was like, I don't know, and then like got to the point where like I feel like everybody kind of made the choice, and it was one that I wasn't very. The cut drove me to the point where I got the point where I was like, I just want to let you guys know, and I'm not trying to be like super mean right now. And it's like, but this cut right now makes me want to not. Yeah, I don't even want to listen to the song anymore. And then all of a sudden it was like no response for like hours, and I was like, well, I was that guy.
Hey, you
and I
spoke
had
your
to-
mind.
Hey,
And then
That's right.
yeah, no, it was the first time I think I ever got like riled up about it.
Yeah. I mean, it's
Yeah.
well, and but like overall, when I've only heard great stuff from people who've listened to the album in its like entirety, or even just like from this song straight into the outro as we kind of intended it to be. You don't have to. You can just listen to the outro by itself. I do sometimes even, but just with how it feels. Because it's such a defining, like encompassing thing. And I just had so much fun recording Ashes. It was it's the intro, but more.
but more.
It's like the deluxe edition.
Yeah. Right. DLC.
Kind of. It is. Like it's like sprinkle. It's like ice cream, but you put sprinkles on it.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Yeah.
So
Where did we first come up with the idea to get like to throw the outro in there? Like, where did that come from? Because we had worked on the intro piece.
Yeah.
I mean, well, probably months and months prior. Like, we had been working on this, and we were like, oh, when we start playing these live shows, let's have this little intro. So we wrote this intro.
I remember.
Evan smiling.
I remember because I thought I was being funny and that you guys were going to laugh at me and be like, aha, that's so funny. We're not going to do that. And we were like rehearsing it, and I just had the idea, and I just looked at everybody with the widest eyes possible, and I was like, follow me. And they're like, okay. And then we reached the end and right into it right away. And then everyone was like, yeah. And then we just went straight into it and we played through it. And then we were like, okay, yeah, that was awesome. So we're going to do that now. We have an outro.
Yeah. Yeah. And we play it live like that a lot. We end with Where Lovers Go to Die sometimes, and then we just go straight into the outro. It's an awesome ending, I think.
It's like bookends. you know,
Yeah,
on a show.
right.
It's just like it was a beautiful beginning and a beautiful end to the album, and it just kind of put everything fit everything neatly throughout the album. It's like it gave it a more a neat opening, a neat close, some continuity, holds it all together.
Yeah.
It's like a chapter book.
It's a
Yeah.
You have to close it.
it's a beautiful ending.
Yeah.
It's a nice little, I mean, because it gets like the softest parts of the whole album and like some of the highest parts of the whole album. And when you get to the climax, I remember when we got I think it might have been like the first or second master from Chris. It was right when I had gotten my like really nice studio headphones.
Oh, yeah.
And I was in my old house and I was just sitting listening to it, and it got to that point and I just started crying. I was like, this sounds so good. Like, it's just, I was like, and then because that was the first stuff that we put out, and I was like, oh my God, we made this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we just did that. That's our stuff. I was like, holy crap.
I think we all said the same thing. I think we all got to it, and like we listened to it was the last two songs that we got to hear. Everything else was done. We had these two, and I think we all got it, and we got it done, and we're like, I think I don't know if you said you cried, but I think all of us were all like, yeah, I think that's the most emotional I've ever felt.
Yeah.
Like music wise was listening to like our first thing. Like we're like, because we're done. It is that bookend.
Yeah.
It was not only the bookend of like the album, but like it was the bookend to our project. That's our first project. Like, and it was years in the making. Like
Yeah.
took a
It
long
was
time.
it was really the entire encapsulation of our time up to that point as a band.
Yeah.
We hadn't made anything new other than what was on the album, and we had, been playing the songs effectively for over a year at that point, and, had our first fight over it, and, had gone through all this whole process of it, and to finally have it, before you, that you can be like, yep, anyone who's watching this can just go click it on their phone and listen to that thing that we made in Chris's basement back in 2020 and 2021 and whatever was. It's there for anyone for the rest of the time, and it's just awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what's your favorite part?
I think my favorite part is my high note, just because of how, first of all, Chris's reaction was hilarious. When I first started recording with Chris, when I was in a metal band, if you want to tie this back in, I frabbed my vocal cords. So like I didn't have a falsetto for a very long time. Like it was hard. And I like really started we're working it up, and like obviously by the time we started Walking Phoenix, I can sing fine now. But he had been recording with me for a very long time now, and he had never heard me do that though. I'm like a huge like old school like Chris Cornell fan, so when like those wailing notes, it has always been my goal to hit one. And then yeah, we're in the studio and I hit it, and Chris's face turned to me, he looked at me, he was like, and I almost started laughing like mid note, and like it was crazy, and it was proud like how it came out and how it sounded in the recording afterwards. I was like, that sounded really good, and I'm really happy that I like accidentally did it at a show. That's literally how it started. Like I was going for it, and I was like, I wonder if I can hit it, and I just kind of went for it, and it worked, and I was like, we're keeping it like forever. I was like, holy crap.
Yeah.
And I don't always do it. Depends on how tired I am.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, it's high, but no, I think that's my favorite, just because of it's the first time I ever did anything like that. And it was pretty. I think it turned out kind of cool.
I think my favorite part probably is that instrumental as we build up, when the song is finally lifting. Like, so we go from a very soft, we go from very gentle. I'm playing with brushes, I'm doing all that stuff. We finally get to the part where Jaden just says die, 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 die over and over. But the instruments start to build up there. And that moment is like, to me, that's like going back to your meaning behind the song. That's like the moment of freedom in the relationship too. Or it's the point at which you kind of get your head above the clouds and you realize like we have a choice here, or we can, it's like, do we take the path that goes up, or we take the path that goes down?
Right.
And so musically, like that spot every time just gives me like, oh, it's like goosebumps.
Yep.
Yeah.
Pivotal point.
Pivotal point. There's a little part in, I think it's like the highest point in the song, where I do like a little solo.
Is it your bass part?
Yeah. But it's like,
Yeah, I know.
right. It's kind of a solo, but it's like everyone's playing their own thing at the same time. So it's like, I'm playing something that could be a solo, but it's just intermixed with everything, which I think is super cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, I love the melody on that. I love how it interlocks with everybody else doing stuff. I mean, it makes it busy. You know, it's like Evan said, it's like orchestrated. Yeah, I think that's probably my favorite part. And just that I'm proud of our compositional aspect on the whole song. Yeah.
Mine's either when Jaden first hits that first like build and hits that first high note and whatnot. It is that I don't know what it is. It might be the little bit of the grit that's in there. It might be the exact note choice. I don't know what it is, but something about that moment just really hits me right square in the heart, and I'm just immediately like that's when I'm like full on bawling, and I just that's the moment where it's like, yep, throw caution to the wind. Doesn't matter. I'm living in this moment. I don't care that I am covered in sweat and I have to go talk to people after this, or I have to load up a Tours van and have us drive back and unload, or that I already broke 2 strings earlier tonight. It doesn't matter. It matters that this being in this musical moment with all of you, and like the moments where like I pull myself out of just being very conscious of what I'm doing and what's going on, and I like look at Dan and I see Dan in the moment. And I look at Tor and I see Tor just really in the moment, and I just see Jaden's face as he's singing some of these notes, and I'm like, I'm in an incredible band. And I'm just like so happy about it. But to be honest, my actual favorite moment is in the outro, the second solo, and I'm just doing my tapping thing.
Like,
I did not even know that Evan was doing that for like a long time.
I remember the first time we like,
Yeah,
we looked at each other like,
We saw it because I think like you had come out on stage in a particular way at a particular angle that we could actually see you. And like, I don't know how I didn't hear it before, but then, yeah, and then I looked at Jaden and I was like, has he always been doing that? And I just missed it this whole time. And then I asked him, I was like, when did you start doing that? And he was like, I've done that the whole time. I'm like,
Always.
I didn't know that.
Good listening.
Yeah, right.
Very good
I
listening
have a
skills.
very good ear.
Gosh, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Overall, this album was a whole journey, and I think it really, even from talking from the intro and Good Intentions to now, I think you can really see as you go like through the album, listening wise, just our whole growth throughout that first year, and so I think it really was a great project to show. Hey guys, we're here.
It's chapter 1.
We have an American dream.
Yep.
American Dream.
American dream. American dream. American dream. American dream.
That's where lovers go to die.
Hey guys, thanks for watching this episode of Talking Phoenix Behind the Songs. You can check out all the rest of the videos on our channel or on our website at walkingphoenixofficial.com.
And a special thanks to Fiel Capital in Fargo for letting us use this space and get this awesome studio that you've seen here.
You can check us out on social media, and you can stream our songs anywhere that you want on Spotify, Apple Music, and so on.
Thanks for watching. Catch one of the other episodes if you're interested. You've been Walking Phoenix.